Hello. I am going to not use my hands because I've just done a very long video and then I turned it off with my hands. So I'm keeping my hands in front of me. I might drink coffee with it. So, no, I was walking the dog this morning and I was walking down the street and I realised it's just coming up 12 months since we buried one of my friends, and I can't believe it's only been 12 months because such a lot has happened in that time frame. And yet, in other respects, it's gone really quick. I mean, I'm 60 now, so a year is the 60th of my life, so it seems to pass really quickly. Whereas when you're younger, when you're a kiddie, when you're 7 or 8, when you're 8 years old, a year's an eighth of your life, so it's a huge amount of time, and it seems to take forever. And that's why I say, doesn't it? Isn't it funny how time goes? Seems to go quicker. But it's not. It's just that you're older, and a year is in relationship to your age is gets less and less, if you know what I mean. Or does it get more and more? I don't fucking know. Do you know? I don't fucking know. Anyway, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I mean, in some respects, it's Christmas around the corner again and all this kind of stuff. And, and last year, I'd say I got into October, November, December, and I was quite down, and I think I hit a low point around about New Year. And I can remember sitting here doing a video, and a video hopefully I'll never put out. I'll never, because it was very, very, what I would call raw, and I was upset, and I was, and I just thought, but things change, and so much has changed this year, and some of it's positive, a lot of it's positive, but there are some negatives. I think I've got a pattern in myself, which is very difficult to break, in that I'm comfortable being under pressure. And I think that is, when everything's going so well, you subconsciously, and I don't think you do it on purpose, but some people could subconsciously self-destruct. They push a self-destruct button. And I do that. I know I do that. And I don't know why, and I don't know when. I don't know when I'm doing it some of the time. But I don't think I deserve, and I think life shouldn't be easy. It has to be hard, because I'm not worthy enough of a person to be, to have an easy life. I've got to have things going wrong. I've got to have, because I always think life's meant to be hard. I don't think life's meant to be easy. I've always thought that. Brought up in a time where we today, and especially with social media and things like that, people think, I can just go on social media and become a star and I'll get lots of money and I won't have to ever work. We never thought like that as kids. There was, you didn't, there were pop stars and there were movie stars, and you thought, if I could be a pop star. But I knew I couldn't never sing or play guitar or anything to a standard where I could be a pop star. And I couldn't act or whatever. So I sort of grew up knowing that I would have to get a job at 15 years old, which I did do. As soon as I left school, I got a job, and then you work from there, and you make your life, and you do the best you can. It's not. I'm not saying it's great. I'm not saying it's the way forward, but that's what we sort of had worked into us. The very clever kids at school, and I mean they're very clever. I think I went to a school, Primmett, and I think there was maybe 900 pupils at Primmett, and it was only probably the top 30 or 40 that would go on to university. The rest of us knew we were thickouts. But university, I think, was a lot harder to get into back in the day. You wanted to go to uni in the day, you had to be clever. You were straight, you needed an 8 or 9 GCSEs, all that, grade A or A plus GCSEs. So we never thought we were going to go on and do stuff like that. So you got a job, and hey, listen, I did all right. I've done very well, and I've had my own businesses. I've run big businesses, so I've done all right. But I always tend to end up fucking things up. And I wonder whether that's just a pattern in me, that I don't feel as though I deserve success sometimes. My dog is fucking annoying me. Yeah. What do you want? What do you want? It's Jasper. You prick. Aren't you? Prick, aren't you? Yeah, prick. Yeah, so yeah, but it's just been, it has, there's a lot happened this year, and it's, I can't believe it's only a year. It just seems so much has changed, and yet so much remains the same. Anyway, I just thought I'd come on and say it's been a strange year in that in some respects it's gone really quickly, but in other respects if you'd have asked me, if you'd have said, oh, it's 2 years since Anthony died, I wouldn't. I'd have gone, oh yeah, I get that. So anyway, I'm going now, and I'm going to see if I can switch it off now with my hand, which I probably can't. Can I? See, when you want to fucking switch